Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Richard Bracken. I'm an associate professor in exercise physiology at Swansea University. And I just wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the work that we're doing with Team Novo Nordisk, the only professional cycling team where individuals have type 1 diabetes. And the mission statement of this team is that despite having type 1 diabetes, diabetes is not a barrier to performance. They are created to inspire, educate, and empower people affected by diabetes. And for those of you that don't know much about diabetes, type 1 diabetes is where a viral infection tends to destroy the pancreatic beta cells and stops the efficient release or suppression of insulin. And therefore, people with type 1 diabetes generally tend to have a lifelong dependency on exogenous insulin. Well, our interaction with Team Novo Nordisk involved an understanding of researching these particular athletes for their aerobic capabilities with a view on how good performance that they can make in race events, and indeed how does this line up against professional athletes who don't have type 1 diabetes. And we did this by understanding the rates of oxygen consumption for their supply and oxygen demand. And we can measure these parameters from exhale breath, where we can determine the volume of oxygen consumed. We did this by attending a training camp down in Spain, where we recorded their breath profiles in incremental exercise intensity settings to the point of exhaustion, and also took small blood samples just to measure their blood lactate and blood glucose responses to these types of exercise. Not only did we do laboratory type testing, but we also took the athletes out, and as they cycled on rides between 2 to 6 hours in duration, we had access to their technology, looking at GPS, heart rate, power, and also their continuous glucose traces measured by devices called XCOM sensors. That gave us 5-minute by 5-minute samples of interstitial glucose. With this data, we can help profile, this is an example of a trace that you see here, their data that is above euglycemic levels, i.e. hyperglycemic, or below in terms of hypoglycemic levels. Both of these extremes are a worry for people with type 1 diabetes, and our objective is to try and manage or maximize greater than 70% of the time spent in the euglycemic level for these particular riders. Doing so helps. It helps us to be able to characterize what the occurrences of hypoglycemia during exercise might be. So this is very low blood glucose concentrations during cycling, which is not helpful. But that can be rectified by understanding the amount of foods and the insulin that they're taking in and around these types of activities. And we also managed to record a lot of information about their nutrition as well. What did we find with the nutritional data? Well, certainly the longer the ride, the more carbohydrates are required alongside fats and protein. But fundamentally, that the training demands for carbohydrates are being taken in are different than in race events, where, for example, we compared our data to the riders' data in California, where they tend to take in a lot more carbohydrates and yet still have potential for some hypoglycemia.